Hello, my dear YouTube friends. This is a message about how I overcame feelings of depression and hopelessness. If you are someone you know is feeling depressed or hopeless, please watch this entire video as I share my story of how I overcame depression. Yesterday, my friend Letty from Living Life with Letty celebrated her 1 year anniversary on YouTube. She mentioned how she started her journey after watching a video of me on Bob Wells' cheap RV living while I was living in a car. Today, someone asked me why I decided to start a YouTube channel. I told her what I usually say is to encourage others living this lifestyle. And because so many people have encouraged me over the past few years that I should do it. But really, it goes much deeper than that. When I first started my nomad life, I was living in my car on $800 a month. I suffered poverty and sometimes severe abuse in many ways as a child. And as I got older, I made really bad choices in marriage and everything, really. Uh, and I continue to be a victim of abuse. Although I've forgiven my parents and my ex-husbands, I grew up very depressed and lonely. I felt completely alone in this world, and I felt hopeless. I really didn't know why I was here. When I lost my parents and my health and my son all in a period of a couple years, it was too much for me. Everything happened all in the same short period. And so I pushed all my friends and family away. And I held grudges for many years. And I stopped believing that God even cared about me. By the time I was 38, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is chronic pain, and chronic fatigue syndrome, and post-traumatic stress disorder from my childhood. I believe all this stuff triggered my health problems and chronic pain and depression. I dwelt on the negative stuff in my life, and I had almost no positive influences in my life. When my youngest son died at the age of 19, and my oldest son went to prison, I think that was the final straw. It was what finally caused a full nervous breakdown. I had no motivation, and I had nothing in life that was interesting to me. I found no pleasure in any of the normal things in life. I didn't love myself. I actually hated myself, and I was completely broken. I was in constant pain and had no desire to do even the things I should or could do. My body, from non-use, became atrophied. And so I ended up in a wheelchair for 5 years, barely able to walk more than a few feet without holding on to something. There came a point where I had no will to live. I thought about and planned ways to end it all, but I just didn't have the guts. I told myself at this point, just do it. End it now, or get up and get going. Either die or start living. I chose life. So I got out of my chair and I started walking. First a few feet, then around the house, then a few hundred feet, a block, and on until I was able to go dancing 2 or 3 times a week. That's when I met my husband during that time, when I was dancing. I went to real estate school. I decided I wanted to go back to work. So I got my real estate license, but I hated it. I hated the high pressure sales of talking people into buying something I knew they couldn't afford. And it was a bad time in the real estate business because the market was crashing and it was the recession back in the 2008 or 2009. Then I decided I couldn't be a real estate agent anymore. I only did it for a little over a year. So I decided I needed a different kind of work. I had been a gambler from the time I was 17 years old, and I loved to play cards and slots and mostly Keno. So I decided to go to poker school. Once I got my dealer's license, I went to work as a Texas Hold'em poker dealer in a local card room. Within a few months after I started working, I was in so much pain I had to go into traction 2 or 3 days a week. It put such a strain on my neck and my back. I still had all my other health problems, but I continued to work in great pain for the next 12 years. I wanted the money. I made a lot of money. And as a poker dealer, I could have put away a very nice retirement. But because of my depression, I just gambled it all away. I was extremely addicted to gambling and prescription medication. I met my husband during that time, and even though there were all the red flags, I knew and he knew it wasn't a good thing. But we still got married. Me with my gambling addiction, and him with his alcohol addictions. I threw away a ton of money, and he was emotionally and verbally abusive and a control addict, I guess. So the gambling was a real bad thing for me, and working in the card room didn't help with that. I could go to a casino and sit for 12 to 24 hours just sitting in front of a Keno machine or at a poker table. I didn't have to think. I could block out all my emotional and physical pain and just empty my mind. My health started getting worse again, and so I got to the point that I couldn't even work anymore. So I had to go back on disability, which also put even more strain on the bad marriage. I decided I needed to get into counseling, so I did seek out a therapist and was able to work in some group therapy, and it helped. It started me to realize that that I wasn't a bad person, that I deserved better. I didn't need to be abused. Somehow during this time, I turned back to God. I knew I couldn't continue living this way. I was at the point where I wanted to end it all again. I started watching YouTube videos, and I decided I had to leave. I had to get out of there. So I had just started receiving my Social Security checks, and I was in very deep debt. I set up my bed in my car, packed up as many of my belongings as I could, and camping gear, and started out living as a nomad. I had only just recently reconnected with my brother and sisters the year before, and so I could not reach out to them. I couldn't ask them to help me, and even if I did, they were none of them in a circumstance to be able to help me. So that's how I ended up at the first RTR, Rubber Term Rendezvous, in Quartzsite, Arizona, back in, I believe it was January of 2017. And I met Bob Wells, who did the first video of me living in my car on $800 a month, which went viral. He got way over 3.5 million views on that video. You can check it out. Anyhow, the reason I went to is I wanted to meet other people that were living a lot like me, living in their vehicles, or I needed to find out how to live that way. Even though I camped all my life, it was different when you think about having to live that way. I decided I was going to be positive no matter what. Just put on a smile and let people believe that you had it all together. I was scared to death. I was completely alone. But nobody really knew this. That first year, I know everyone believed I was confident and secure. They all commented about how positive I was and everything. The same thing the second year. What I saw happening to me is that I started to feel positive. I started to enjoy life. And my new connections, I had actually started to feel like somebody cared. I was finding things that made me smile. And the encouragement I received from the comments on Bob's videos were a healing to me. I was starting to heal. Then I had a couple of years of serious health problems. As you all know, I had thyroid disease due to Graves' disease, really, causing my bulging eyes and bad vision. I had a stroke. I broke my back and my wrist and had the 4 eye surgeries all within a year or so. Everything was happening all at once. Yet still, in spite of all this, I found reasons to go on living. I couldn't even travel for a year. Although I had no friends, nobody that lived near me or camped near me that cared about me, and it was extremely difficult physically, I still wanted to live. By the third RTR and the third video that Bob did of me, I was well on my way to recovery. As a nomad, I have been healing physically and emotionally. I don't understand what really happened, but knowing that people cared and my faith in my God, Yahweh, helped me so much. I didn't even realize how much it helped me. I feel closer to God than I ever have, and I've found that I do have a purpose in life. I know that I can get through the pain and the depression and the suffering. So can others. Whether you live in a house or in a tent or on wheels, you can get help. There's still a lot of people out there who really care and will be supportive of you. You can really be happy and positive and have hope. Don't give up, no matter what. In summary, I want to say that I went from absolutely no will to live, heavy addictions, and no purpose in life to where I am today. Today, I am no longer depressed. I really do have a positive outlook on life. I believe that being in nature is a healing. I believe that you can have love and community even out in the middle of the desert. And you can make long-lasting friendships and connections. No, change isn't always easy, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. We can adapt. I don't need to gamble anymore to hide or mask my pain or medicate. If you have faith in a higher power, mine is Yahweh, God, and if you seek to get help, it will be there. If you are willing to let down your walls, break down the fences, and force yourself to get up and move forward, and even take the risk of getting hurt again. It can happen. You can heal. So the message of this video is that for anybody who is dealing with depression, first seek professional help if you can. And then surround yourself with the environment and people who do not bring you down. Force yourself to be positive. Healing is a gradual process. Make yourself get up and move forward just one step at a time. Put one foot in front of the other. I am living proof that it is possible to heal from severe trauma, depression, and pain. I thank this community of nomadic people and the people that just support our channel, our people and channels. I thank you for helping me through all of this. Thank you for helping me to heal. And I only pray that I can pay it forward by helping others. This is why I started my YouTube channel. I hope and pray this will help others. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until we meet again, stay positive, share your love and community, and make yourself happy. You can do it. You can heal. You can overcome depression. Thank you.